Let me tell you something. Your silence is not weakness. It is not retreat. It is not fear. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you can carry in this life. Because when you stop explaining, when you stop defending, when you stop fighting to be understood, you force people to reveal who they really are. See, the noise always hides the truth. Arguments, gossip, back and forths. They cover up what's really in someone's heart. But when you go quiet, when you stop feeding the drama, their demons come out. Your silence shines a light on the darkness in them. And I promise you, if you learn to master silence, you'll never have to fight every battle with your mouth again. The truth will expose itself. So let's talk about how silence exposes those demons. Silence removes your energy from their drama. There's a reason people who love drama always want your attention. They survive off your reaction. They feed off your words. The moment you give them a piece of your mind, they've already won because now you're playing in their chaos. But silence is starvation to their spirit. Silence is like taking the batteries out of their remote control. They push buttons, but nothing happens, and that's when you realize how much power you really have. You don't have to fight every battle with words. You don't have to keep explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you in the first place. When you stop talking, you cut off the oxygen to their fire. Think about this. If you stop arguing, if you stop correcting every lie, if you stop responding to every accusation, what can they do? Their words fall flat. Their poison has nowhere to land. Your silence disarms them. Some folks only want to pull you into a storm because that's where they feel comfortable. They love the chaos, but the moment you don't show up, they're left in that storm all by themselves. That's how silence removes your energy from their mess. You have to protect your peace like it's your lifeline, because it is. The more you engage in drama, the more you hand over your peace. And the more you hand over your peace, the less control you have over your own life. Silence isn't about being weak. It's about being wise. It's about knowing which battles deserve your energy and which ones deserve your silence. Most drama doesn't deserve your response. It deserves your absence. When you choose silence, you're telling yourself, I'm not going to waste energy on something that doesn't add value to my life. That's self-respect. That's self-control. People who thrive on drama don't know what to do when you won't play their game. They'll push harder, they'll provoke more, but eventually they'll get tired, because demons can't stand being starved. Every word you don't say is energy you keep. Every fight you walk away from is peace you protect. Every silence you choose is wisdom you gain. People confuse silence with surrender, but it's not surrender, it's strategy. It's the wisdom to know you don't have to win every fight with noise. Sometimes the best way to win is to walk away without saying a word. The ones who love drama will always try to bait you. They'll poke, they'll prod, they'll try to drag you into their storm. But when you stay silent, they're left swinging at the air. That's how you expose them. See, silence doesn't just protect you. It frustrates them. It frustrates the demons inside them, because demons feed off conflict, but silence leaves them hungry, and eventually their true colors spill out. You have to ask yourself, do I want to waste my voice proving myself to people who will never understand, or do I want to save my energy for the blessings ahead? That's the choice silence gives you. And every time you choose silence, you're stepping out of their drama and stepping back into your destiny. You're reminding yourself, I don't owe anybody an explanation for protecting my peace. Silence forces people to face themselves. Silence is a mirror. When you stop explaining, when you stop arguing, when you stop making noise, people are left to hear the sound of their own conscience. And trust me, some people can't handle that. A guilty spirit always gets louder when silence shows up. That's why when you go quiet, folks start accusing, projecting, or over-explaining. It's not because of you. It's because your silence is forcing them to face themselves. Silence takes away their excuses. When you don't respond, they can't twist your words. They can't play the victim. They can't rewrite the story to make themselves look good. They're left with only their truth, and that truth eats at them. Think about it. When somebody does wrong, they want you to argue so they can say, "See, you're crazy, you're dramatic, you're overreacting." But if you stay silent, they don't have that cover. They have to deal with their own reflection. Silence is pressure. It presses down on lies until they crack. It presses down on guilt until it shows. It presses down on jealousy until it spills out. That's why your silence makes some people so uncomfortable. They can't hide from themselves anymore. When you argue, you give people a distraction. When you stay silent, you give them a mirror. That's why silence is so powerful. It doesn't defend you, it exposes them. And here's the truth. People who carry demons inside of them cannot sit peacefully in silence. It agitates them. It makes them restless. They'll try to provoke you just to escape themselves. Some people can't stand your quiet because your quiet shines a light on their darkness. They need noise, gossip, and conflict to keep their demons comfortable. When you take that away, their spirit starts to itch. Silence is like a test. The people who are pure, the people who love you, they'll respect your quiet. They'll give you space. But the ones with something to hide, they'll expose themselves in the silence. Don't underestimate how powerful it is to keep your mouth closed. Sometimes, the less you say, the more they reveal. Your silence sets the stage for their demons to perform. When you stop engaging, you force them to wrestle with the very thing they've been running from, their own heart. And nothing scares a guilty person more than being left alone with their conscience. That's why people will try to break your silence with manipulation. They'll bait you. They'll lie on you. They'll say things to spark your fire, because as long as you're talking, they don't have to face themselves. But if you stay disciplined, if you keep your silence, they have no choice but to live with themselves. That's when the guilt, the shame, the envy, and the jealousy start to surface. That's when their demons show up. Your silence isn't punishment, it's exposure. It's pulling the mask off without lifting a finger. It's giving them nothing to fight against but the truth of who they are. And the beauty is, you don't even have to raise your voice. Just stand still, stay quiet, and let their own spirit do the work. Silence is the courtroom, and their demons are the ones testifying against them. Silence exposes hidden enemies. Not everybody smiling at you is for you. Not everybody clapping for you wants to see you win. Some people are sitting at your table waiting for the right moment to poison your meal, and the only way you'll find them is through silence. When you stop talking so much, when you stop revealing every plan, when you stop explaining every move, the wrong people start to show themselves. Silence flushes them out. Hidden enemies hide well when there's noise. They blend in with the crowd, clapping when everyone else claps, laughing when everyone else laughs. But silence is like turning off the lights at a party. You'll see who really belongs in the room. The moment you get quiet, watch carefully. People who are pretending to be for you will start squirming. They can't stand not knowing what you're up to. Their demons can't handle being shut out of your plans. Silence makes fake support obvious. The people who are only close to you because of what they could hear from you or take from you, suddenly they don't know how to act. That's because your silence cuts off their supply. And when you're not feeding them information, they'll go find it somewhere else. That's when you'll see who runs to gossip about you, who starts making up stories about you, who starts twisting your name. Your silence reveals them. Hidden enemies are always exposed in the absence of words, because when you stop talking, they have to speak for themselves, and the way they speak about you in your absence tells you everything you need to know. Silence forces people to reveal their loyalty. The ones who are really with you, they won't be bothered by your quiet seasons. They'll stand with you even when you say nothing. The ones who aren't, they'll drift away or expose their envy. Think about it. If somebody can't respect your silence, they don't respect you. If they need constant access to your words, your plans, your energy, they're not for you, they're for themselves. Silence is a test. The people who pass are the ones who stay consistent, whether you're speaking or not. The people who fail are the ones who disappear, talk bad about you, or reveal their jealousy when they can't get what they want from you. Hidden enemies don't reveal themselves in your victories. They reveal themselves in your silence, because silence makes them restless. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Silence starves their access. Sometimes the only way God can show you who's against you is by closing your mouth. Because as long as you keep talking, they can keep pretending. But silence strips away the disguise. You'll be surprised how many people only stayed close to you for information. When that information dries up, so does their loyalty. That's how silence exposes the ones who were never truly with you. Watch carefully during your seasons of quiet. That's when people's true hearts come out. Some will love you enough to respect your stillness. Others will hate you enough to betray you in it. That's the exposure silence brings. And once you see them for who they are, you don't even have to confront them. Just thank silence for doing what your words never could. It revealed your hidden enemies without you having to lift a finger. Silence protects your spirit. Your spirit is your most valuable possession. It's where your peace lives, where your strength lives, where your wisdom lives. But every time you engage in unnecessary arguments, every time you lower yourself into chaos, you risk damaging that spirit. Silence is a shield. It doesn't mean you don't feel anger. It doesn't mean you don't want to respond. It means you choose to protect your spirit over proving your point. And that's real power. Think about it. Every argument costs you something. Energy, peace, joy, focus. It all gets drained when you let people pull you into their negativity. But silence keeps your spirit whole. Some people are masters at pulling others into emotional quicksand. They know the right buttons to push. They know the right lies to tell. And if you're not careful, you'll drown in their storm. But silence is your lifeboat. When you stay silent, you're not avoiding the issue. You're avoiding contamination. Because not every battle is meant for you. Some fights are designed to poison your spirit, to get you acting out of character, to make you lose yourself. Silence keeps you in control. When you argue, you give control to the other person. They can twist your words, they can provoke your temper, they can drag you down. But when you stay silent, they can't touch your spirit. Protecting your spirit means valuing peace over ego. It means saying, I don't have to win this argument because I'm not going to lose myself in the process. That's the wisdom silence gives you. People will call you weak for staying silent, but it takes strength to hold your tongue when everything inside you wants to respond. Anybody can clap back. Anybody can argue. But not everybody can protect their spirit. Silence keeps your spirit clean. Once you let anger, bitterness, and resentment in, it's hard to get them out. But silence blocks those doors. Silence says, I'm not letting your poison into my soul. The truth is, some people don't want resolution. They want reaction. And if you keep giving them that reaction, you'll always feel drained, bitter, and broken. Silence is your way of saying, my spirit is off limits. Think of silence like a boundary line. It says you can throw words, you can throw accusations, but they will not enter my heart. Silence draws that line in the sand and guards it. The world is noisy. People are always talking, arguing, proving, defending. But the strongest spirits are the ones that can rise above the noise and stand in silence. That's how you protect your inner power. Protecting your spirit is not selfish, it's survival. You can't pour into your purpose. You can't walk in peace. You can't live fully if your spirit is drained by constant chaos. Silence keeps you whole. The ones who try to disturb your peace only win if you let them in. But when you keep quiet, when you guard your spirit, you remind them, you don't control my mood, my mind, or my destiny. And every time you choose silence, you're not just protecting yourself in that moment. You're building a habit of strength. You're training your spirit to stay unshaken, no matter how loud the world gets. Silence speaks louder than words. People think power is in the mouth. They think strength is in how loud you can get, how fast you can argue, how sharp your words can cut. But the truth is, silence often speaks louder than any sentence you could ever put together. Silence says, I'm not controlled by your chaos. It says, you don't dictate my reaction. It says, I know my worth, and I don't need to lower myself to prove it. That's louder than shouting back will ever be. When you clap back, you join the noise. But when you stay silent, your peace becomes the loudest voice in the room. People remember silence more than they remember words because silence leaves them unsettled. Think about a courtroom. The loudest lawyer isn't always the one who wins. The strongest case often comes from evidence that speaks for itself. That's what silence does. It lets the truth speak for you without you ever opening your mouth. Silence is not the absence of words. It's the presence of strength. Because it takes strength to say nothing when your whole body wants to defend itself. That quiet strength is louder than any argument. People want you to respond so they can twist it, mock it, or use it against you. But when you don't give them that, your silence becomes a declaration. You're saying, I refuse to play your game. And that speaks volumes. Words can be debated, words can be denied, words can be forgotten. But silence lingers. Silence stays in their mind, echoing louder than anything you could have said. Your silence can expose insecurity. It can reveal guilt. It can show who's desperate for attention. Because if they need your words to feel justified, your silence becomes proof that they can't stand on their own. Sometimes the best clap back isn't a response at all. It's the look in your eyes, the calm in your body language, the peace in your silence, that speaks louder than paragraphs of defense. When you're silent, people start asking questions. Why didn't they respond? Why aren't they mad? Why are they so calm? That curiosity is louder than your defense could ever be. Silence has a way of making people reveal themselves. When you don't respond, they keep talking. And the more they talk, the more their true nature comes out. Your silence gave them the stage to expose their own demons. You'll be surprised how silence shifts the power. In arguments, the one who talks least often holds the most control. The one who stays calm in silence is the one really running the room. Silence speaks of confidence. It says, I don't have to prove anything. It says, the truth doesn't need my words. It will reveal itself. That type of quiet confidence is louder than any shouting match. Some people mistake silence for weakness, but let them think what they want. Because while they're busy underestimating you, your silence is working in your favor. It's exposing them, protecting you, and keeping your dignity intact. So the next time someone tries to drag you into chaos, remember this. Your silence is not empty. It's loaded, it's powerful, and it speaks louder than anything they could ever say against you. Silence makes jealousy obvious. Jealousy is sneaky. It hides behind fake smiles, behind congratulations that don't sound too convincing, behind friends who clap for you but secretly hope you fall. But silence has a way of drawing jealousy out into the open. When you stop talking about your plans, when you stop announcing your every move, when you stay quiet about what you're working on, jealousy doesn't know how to act. Because jealous people survive on information. As long as you're talking, they can copy you, they can compete with you, they can criticize you. But when you go silent, when you don't let them know what you're building, their demons start itching. Jealousy hates mystery. It hates not knowing. It hates not having access to your every step. And when you stay silent, you force those hidden jealous hearts to reveal themselves. Watch closely. When you're quiet about your blessings, the people who are truly for you will still support you. But the ones who are only watching you to compare, to envy, to outdo, you'll see their energy shift. Silence makes jealous people restless. They'll start fishing for answers. What are you working on? Where have you been? Why so quiet? And if you don't give them what they want, their frustration exposes them. Jealousy can't stand silence because silence is control. It means they can't predict you, can't sabotage you, can't compete with you. And when they lose that control, their demons get loud. Have you ever noticed how some people only get excited about your struggles but never about your wins? Your silence shines a spotlight on that. Because when you don't announce your progress, they can't fake their celebration. Silence is protection. If jealousy doesn't know your next move, it can't block it. If it doesn't know your blessings, it can't taint them. Silence guards your destiny from envious eyes. Jealous people hate silence because it forces them to deal with their own insecurities. If they can't measure your success, they're left to measure their own failures. That's why your silence makes them so uncomfortable. The truth is, jealous people don't want you quiet. They want you loud. They want you posting, bragging, oversharing, because that gives them fuel to compare, to envy, to gossip. But when you go silent, you cut off their supply. Silence is the announcement that doesn't need to be made. It's living in such a way that your growth, your peace, and your blessings speak for themselves. And nothing frustrates jealousy more than not being able to track you. Some people don't clap for you because they can't stand the sound of your success. Your silence forces them to reveal that, because when you don't share, they get mad. Not because they care, but because their envy is starving. You don't need to expose jealous people. Your silence does it for you. They'll expose themselves through their questions, their distance, their backhanded comments, their sudden coldness. That's the power of silence. So remember, every time you choose silence, you're not just protecting your peace, you're revealing hearts. You're watching jealousy trip over itself while you stay focused, calm, and unstoppable. Silence teaches you who truly respects you. Respect is not proven when everything is good. Respect is revealed in silence. The way people treat you when you're not speaking, when you're not explaining yourself, when you're not constantly available. That's where their true heart shows. Some folks only respect you when your mouth is open, when you're giving, when you're entertaining, when you're making them feel important. But the moment you go quiet, the moment you don't give them access, their true colors bleed through. Silence is a test of loyalty. If they really respect you, they'll honor your quiet seasons. They'll give you room to breathe, to reflect, to heal, to grow. But if they only respected what you could give them, they'll disappear when you go silent. Watch carefully. When you don't call, when you don't text, when you don't pour into them, who still reaches out just to check on you. That's the difference between real respect and fake friendship. Silence separates the needy from the noble. The needy will get offended, thinking your quiet means rejection. But the noble will understand that silence is not absence. It's just space, and they'll give you that without resentment. People who truly respect you don't demand constant explanations. They don't guilt-trip you for being quiet. They don't assume the worst. They trust your silence because they trust your heart. Respect isn't about how people act in your presence. It's about how they honor you in your absence. And silence creates that absence. It shows you who protects your name when you're not in the room. The ones who gossip about you when you're silent, the ones who question your character, the ones who get bitter because you didn't keep them updated. Those are the people who never truly respected you in the first place. Silence teaches you who values your voice versus who values your being. Because if they only value you for what you say, what you give, or what you share, then they don't really value you. True respect is patient. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't demand constant access. It allows you to be silent without questioning your loyalty. That's how you know who really belongs in your circle. You'll notice something. The ones who respect you will still stand with you when you're silent. They don't need you to explain yourself. They don't need details. They just trust that you're moving how you need to move. The ones who get offended by your silence were never for you. They were for themselves. Because if your quiet threatens them, it means they only respected the part of you that served them. Silence filters your relationships. It's like a sieve that catches the fake and lets the real stay. You don't have to cut people off. Your silence will do it for you. And once you see who really respects you in silence, you'll know exactly who deserves your voice when you do speak. Respect isn't earned through words. It's proven through quiet moments. So remember this. Silence isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about revealing others. And once you know who respects your silence, you'll know exactly who deserves to walk with you into your next season. Silence lets God do the talking. There are some battles your words will never win. No matter how much you explain, no matter how hard you argue, no matter how many times you try to defend yourself, some people have already made up their mind. That's when silence becomes your best weapon, because silence gives God the floor. When you go quiet, you're saying, "This is not my fight to handle. I'll let the one who sees everything, who hears everything, who knows everything handle it." And trust me, he has a way of talking louder than you ever could. People can debate your words, but they can't debate God's moves. When he exposes fully. When he reveals, he leaves no questions. Your silence lets him do that without you getting in the way. You see, sometimes when you talk too much, you actually delay God's work. You try to defend yourself, you try to justify, you try to fight, and in doing so, you take the pen out of his hand. Silence says, "Lord, I'll let you write this story." Silence is faith. It's saying, "I don't have to fight this with my mouth, because I know heaven is already speaking for me." And when heaven speaks, demons tremble. The reason silence is powerful is because it shifts the fight from your level to God's level. You might not be able to change their mind, but God can change their circumstances. You might not be able to reveal their lies, but God can shine a light so bright it burns the lies away. Every time you hold your tongue, you're making room for God to step in. You're creating space for him to work in ways your words never could. Your silence is not empty. It's an invitation. People might laugh at your silence. They might think you're weak. They might think you're scared. They might think they got away with something. But what they don't see is that while you're silent, heaven is working overtime. God has a way of making the truth rise to the surface. Lies look strong for a while, but they always collapse under the weight of truth. Your silence gives those lies time to fall apart without you lifting a finger. Sometimes the loudest thing you can say is nothing. Because your nothing gives God the chance to say everything, and when he speaks, his voice echoes in places your words could never reach. Think about how many times in your life you fought battles with your mouth and ended up drained, frustrated, or misunderstood. Now think about the times you stayed silent and later saw God reveal the truth. That's the difference. Silence is not giving up, it's handing over. It's saying, "Lord, I trust you more than I trust myself." And that kind of surrender always leads to victory. The ones who wronged you, the ones who lied on you, the ones who disrespected you, they may think they escaped, but silence lets God be the judge, and his judgment always comes right on time. Your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. It's wisdom, it's strength, because the moment you stop talking, heaven starts moving, and nothing can stand against that. So let them talk, let them lie, let them laugh. While they're busy making noise, you stay silent and let God do the talking. Because His word carries more power than every argument combined. Family, if there's one thing I need you to take with you today, it's this: silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is not avoidance. Silence is a weapon. Silence is protection. Silence is strategy. We've seen how it works. Silence removes your energy from their drama. Silence forces people to face themselves. Silence exposes hidden enemies. Silence protects your spirit. Silence speaks louder than words. Silence makes jealousy obvious. Silence teaches you who truly respects you. And silence lets God do the talking. You don't have to argue with everybody. You don't have to clap back at everybody. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Sometimes the best thing you can do is close your mouth, step back, and let silence do the heavy lifting. Because here's the truth: your silence will reveal everything their words try to hide. Your silence will expose what's in their heart. Your silence will protect what's in yours. And your silence will make room for God to fight battles you were never meant to fight in the first place. Stop wasting your breath on people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop wasting your energy on people who only want to drain you. Stop giving your spirit away in arguments that don't even matter. From this day forward, I want you to walk with the kind of strength that doesn't need to be loud. Walk with the kind of peace that doesn't need to prove itself. Walk with the kind of silence that exposes demons, protects your soul, and invites God to show His power. Because when you master silence, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, nothing and no one can shake your destiny. So the next time somebody tries to pull you into drama, remember this: you don't always need to raise your voice. Sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing at all. And that silence, that's the sound of wisdom, that's the sound of strength, that's the sound of victory.